My back foot is not to the side. I want it lined up with all my power channeling forward. What's going on, swim fans? In this video, I'm gonna share with you how to optimize your swimming start. We're talking about a racing start. So if you wanna get faster off the blocks and you're looking for those little technical details of how you can enter the water with more speed, more power, and swim faster and smarter than ever before, then this is the right video. Make sure you watch it until the very end so you pick up all the tips and tricks that I'm gonna share. Also, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think and any questions you have. Looking forward to working with you guys to get your start to the next level. Let's begin. We are going to take our racing start to the next level. So if you want to enter the water with more speed, you come to the right place. Now, the first thing we're going to do is cover how you actually approach the diving block, whether this is in training and you're doing racing starts or in an actual competition. Oftentimes I go to competitions and I see swimmers and their body's crooked on the diving block. That starts before you even step onto the block. So when you approach the diving block, and this applies whether you're doing a staggered start or both your feet are actually lined up together at the front of the block, you want to make sure you're facing the other end of the pool. It sounds obvious. That's the direction that you're trying to go. You're trying to get to the other end of the pool as fast as possible. Make sure you line yourself up. Don't worry about what else is going on in the lanes next to you or who's racing next to you. Worry about your own lane. So you're going to line up your feet and your hips and your shoulders in the direction that you want to go. When you step onto the block, you want to continue that energy and channel that focus in a straight line. Oftentimes, especially in a staggered start, you see a lot of swimmers standing on the block like this. If you notice, all of my power is being oriented at like a 45-degree angle to the other side of the pool. Instead, we want to be focusing on the direction that we're trying to go. So if you notice, I do a staggered start and I immediately find my footing. I grab the front of the block with my big toe and I've got a lot of stability. My back foot is also lined up the same way. My back foot is not to the side. I want it lined up with all my power channeling forward. Your hips also need to be lined up in the direction you're trying to go, along with your shoulders. Now at this point, you should feel pretty stable, and you should be so stable that you can lean over the front edge of the block and not fall in. This also depends on your flexibility, so the more you practice, the better you're gonna get. Here we go. So I'm gonna lean forward, and actually, you wanna have your hands set for stability, but not depend on them. So I'm leaning forward, and I can lean a lot more forward and not fall in, and I can lean back. You don't want to lean too far back because remember, the direction you're trying to go is actually forward. I oftentimes see swimmers that on the take your mark, they have a huge lean back and it's a slingshot. Remember, you're trying to go to the other end of the pool, so don't pull yourself back. If anything, you should be in a neutral position, and then you can actually start with the rest of the swimmers at the same time, rather than being at a disadvantage and actually pulling yourself back. With regard to your hands, it's really actually important that you start the race by pulling on the block first, because you have the easiest leverage with your upper body compared to your legs. Think about it. All of your weight is on your legs. No matter how fast you are, no matter how explosive you are, there's going to be a time delay from when you can actually get all of your power generated from your legs. So use your hands to give you that initial burst and pull off the block to start the momentum and get your body leaning forward, and then have your legs take over. If you're doing a track start like I am, where you staggered start, a lot of the power is actually going to come from your front leg. But don't let that stop your back leg from finishing off the push when you leave the block. So if you were to break it into 3 parts, the first part is with your hands. As soon as you hear the beep or see the light, you're gonna pull with your hands. That starts your body rocking forward. Then you're gonna really lean on that front foot, and that first leg is gonna power you forward. And then at the finish of the leaving the block, it's gonna be your back leg, and that's gonna follow through on that final kick. If you have a fin on the diving block, that's where your back leg is really going to benefit from having that fin, but you got to make sure you're pushing with every part of your body and timing it at the right phase. So the first phase is with your hands, the second phase is with the front leg, and then the third and final phase is pushing off with your back leg. Then we'll talk about what happens once you actually leave the block. After you leave the block, it's super important you get your body in a streamlined position as quickly as possible. There's no need to do any fancy acrobatics in the air. Really focus on getting your arms into streamline so that you enter the water through as narrow of a hole as possible. Remember, you're generating all this power off the block and you're leaving with so much speed. When you enter the water, you're gonna slow down. Your goal is to minimize that resistance so that you slow down a little bit less. Remember, the water is 800 times more resistive than air. So when you enter the water and you're hitting the water in a streamline, you're actually gonna carry as much speed as possible. Think of your body like a torpedo. If you try and enter the water actually too far away, you're gonna end up being a little bit flat on the entry. That's gonna cause a lot of splash, and even though you can enter the water a little bit further, it's not really worth it because you're gonna enter the water with less speed. Oftentimes you see the best swimmers in the world entering the water with barely any splash at all. Certainly all these swimmers can actually enter the water a little bit further, but they're gonna sacrifice too much of that speed when you enter the water. So it's really important to enter the water in a tight streamline, enter through a narrow hole, and position your body to carry that speed through the water as efficiently as possible with the least amount of drag. I hope you guys liked this instructional tutorial on how to improve your racing start. If you did, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what questions you have down below in the comments. And also, if you're not already a part of the My Swim Pro Global Community Facebook page, make sure you join it. It's linked down below. Over 10,000 swimmers from over 100 different countries from all over the world with different goals and different skill levels. They're all in there, so I hope to see you guys in there. And also, if you haven't downloaded the My Swim Pro app yet, it's free for iOS and Android. Workouts, training programs for both in the pool and out of the water as well. You'll love it. So make sure you check it out. Wish you guys the best and happy swimming.